Good morning. It's another great day. I hope today is a good one for you. I put a photo out there on the group. was for a run the other morning in the woods, and a kind of a um, sparkle out across the horizon caught my eye. So I meandered to see the farmer's field in the horizon there, and something in that field caught my attention. And it was that there were a bunch of stones, big stones out there in the field. And it occurred to me that that was kind of the theology I grew up with, that those stones were the sins of my past. And those were the things that God wanted me to get out of my field before he could do anything with the field of Keith. And that was such a false theology that I spent a long time living that way. And I realized the real farmers, they don't have time for that. They don't have time to get all those stones out of their field. They move onward, is what they do. So faith is that ability to not walk by sight. Don't walk and look at the things you see. And many of us that have been taught this kind of theology, that we are focused on those stones rather than what the farmer is doing in our lives. And that just is not a productive thing. So we're taught to focus our thoughts and our minds and our eyes on Christ. And so I was thinking about that um, when we think about sin and sinning, that's what we were taught that Christianity was not sinning. But most of the apostles writing about the word sin is this noun, and this noun is this thing that dwells in our physical body that tries to distract us from walking by faith. And there's very little discussion in the apostles writing about sinning, yet most of us have been taught that not sinning is what Christianity is, and it's not. And so I thought we'd take a look at what Paul thought. He was only guilty of chasing down Christians and trying to kill them. That was his stone in his field, and he battled with that, I think, but he overcame that. And so in Philippians chapter 3, Paul's talking about what we do is we either walk by the flesh or the spirit. And when we walk by the spirit, it looks like that picture of the field for which it's mostly clear. There's very few stones in there. And that's how your life is. You're mostly walking by the spirit. There's just that every once in a while you get distracted and go off on tangents that have nothing to do with God. But in the moment, it's hard to turn your mind away from that. But what he's saying is just keep focusing ahead, keep plowing that field. So Paul was telling the Philippians about his particular form of the flesh, and he gave him this laundry list of how great his flesh, if he wanted to have a flesh battle with him. And then he gets to verse 3 and he says, we believers worship in the Spirit of Christ and celebrate in Jesus Christ and put no confidence in the flesh. We're not going to put our confidence in those stones or those patterns in the past. And then he goes on and he goes on to verse um, 13. You can read all the other stuff in between on your own time, but he says, forgetting what lies behind, all those stones out there, I'm going to forget those. And I'm going to reach forward to what lies ahead. That farmer is looking forward. He's not stopping at every stone. I press on towards the goal of the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. So what's going on is the farmer isn't surprised by those fleshly habits that you have. He's not spending his time wringing his hands. He's pressing. The farmer is moving forward in your life. You need to move forward with the farmer God in your life and chase after the things of God. Chase after the heart of God. Get to know him. Just walk with him. That's what Philippians is about. He said that the greatest thing I do is to know Christ and understand the power of his resurrection. So today, that's my hope for you, that you can just plow forward, trust God, enjoy him, and have a wonderful day.